Alright, so popular comedian Druski has been some a little bit of controversy recently. Now I could go on for 30 more seconds naming all this guy's accomplishments. Like he has his own show, he has stakes in Happy Dad, he's frequently in like big commercials, and he's featured in movies too, and he has his own comedy shows. Like let me tell you, Druski is a lot bigger than people think. But most importantly, he is friends with one of the most popular streamers on the planet right now, Tyson Nat, and is a frequent collaborator. And of course, he's also part of the biggest streaming group right now, AMP, obviously with Tyson Nat as well. But this whole dream that he's been living for the past like 4 years has came to a stop due to his seamlessly strange connection he has with Diddy. But in the ongoing lawsuit against Diddy that has been going on since late 2024, Druski's name came up in a lawsuit. In fact, his name is brought up 54 times, which I wouldn't want my name mentioned once if the lawsuit involves Diddy. But like I said, as of March 8th of this year, Druski's name was revealed as the defendant along with Odell Beckham and Jaguar Wright. And yes, these defendants were already mentioned in the court case. Prior to March 8th, they were just mentioned as John or Jane Doe, which they gave those names to plaintiffs if, I guess there's not a strong enough case against them yet. So they used the alias name John or Jane Doe. And I'm assuming the lawyers recently released the names because they think they have a strong enough case against these people. And they're pretty confident that Druski and the other defendants that were mentioned are most likely guilty. Now, if you don't know what a defendant is, it's basically someone that is accused of doing something wrong by the victim or a victim. So yeah, if you didn't know that, now you know. And go tell your parents that you learned what a defendant is by the best YouTuber ever on the platform right now. Now, I also want to get this across, just because Druski's name was mentioned as a defendant doesn't mean he's guilty of what he's being accused of, because there's a very highly chance that he's pretty innocent in this situation, but he also could be guilty too. I just don't want people jumping to conclusions like they did to the JC situation, where he was also accused of doing some very not good things at a Diddy party, and now he's suing his accuser of defamation. And the plaintiffs of this case, the accusers, are a woman named Ashley Burham and a Jane and John Doe. So basically it's one woman and two other anonymous plaintiffs. But this document is basically accusing Druski of being at a party with OBJ and of course Diddy and others in 2018. So keep 2018 in mind, okay? It's a point later. And before we go into the details of what Druski did, they're honestly pretty wild. It kind of don't make sense. So here we go, I guess. So one of the details were that defendant Druski doused the plaintiff with oil and lubricant and then jumped on top of the plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his enormous size. I mean, it's already a very weird and odd thing to say in a court case. Defendant Druski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oiled body and off the bed, and then he began to plaintiff's, reproductive area. While in the meantime, defendant Druski was, the plaintiff, defendant Diddy, sat in a chair near the bed and began to touch himself while recording plaintiff's assault by defendant Druski. Then they continue to say another party's foam fell onto the bed near plaintiff. Plaintiff then attempted to grab the foam, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil/lubricant that had been doused over the person by defendant Diddy and Druski. So basically the plaintiff is trying to elaborate that they are just completely doused in oil, and so much so that they can't pick up anything because it will just slip right out of their hands. Defendant Diddy began to laugh at plaintiff's attempt to grab the foam. Throughout the violence, defendant Diddy made constant belittling remarks to plaintiff, including that he owned her now. Then they say when defendant Druski was finished, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. And at that point, she says she was put up to an IV to keep her alive. And KK is Diddy's former chief of staff. Which, I don't know, it kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense why she would be there. But the plaintiff continues to say that Druski and Diddy left through the back door and went to go smoke. And the victim has also claimed a lot of other, weird stuff. For example, plaintiff John Doe took immediate notice of defendant Odell because when he took off his clothes, he remembers Odell being in great shape, especially in comparison to the naked bodies of Diddy and Druski. If I got, R-worded pretty brutally, I probably wouldn't compliment the person that did it. That just could be a me thing. But yeah, they're basically calling Druski fat and saying Odell had a great body. I know you probably already got that by now. Another thing I find weird about this case is that the plaintiff accused Jaguar Wright of sex trafficking, which doesn't make a lot of sense because she was the main one going on these talk shows and exposing Diddy for who he is. And of course, the internet has grabbed onto this case and started investigating it for themselves. And they found that Druski wasn't even popular in 2018, which was supposedly when the party happens. And also this video from 4 years ago started getting popular again, which the title reads, "What happens when Druski gets too comfortable at Diddy's house?" Which, that title aged pretty poorly.
Don't mind if I do. I wouldn't, shot.
But it seems like most people don't believe the allegations and or just making fun of it by posting memes about it. Here's one meme that I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, honestly, that's the only one. The rest of them kind of suck. But I think the most interesting thing that people have been going back to is when Druski was getting interviewed and he was asked if he ever been to a Diddy party. And Druski responded that he has.
Diddy parties? Yeah, I've been in attendance. I've been in attendance. Not, hey, what the f you smirking for?
I ain't seen it.
I've been in attendance.
We just asking regular questions.
That's all I said. I said I've been in attendance. I have been in attendance.
We never been. We just asking.
We just asking. As soon as you asked, he said,
You had fun?
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, you did.
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, it was a party. I wasn't at one of them parties.
We ain't seen that party. What parties you talking about?
I have been in attendance at a Puff party. You know what I'm saying? I've been in attendance. Yeah, I went. Yeah,
okay.
But I ain't. Yeah, nah. I don't know which party. The party I went to, it was girls. You know what I'm saying? The regular, you know what I mean? Other celebrities and shit, yeah.
That's when you know it's lying when they say, I ain't been to one of them parties. Wait, what party?
Oh, that's crazy. Did you know, see,
just all get while
were you at any of the Diddy parties or did you miss that?
What the where did that come from? How did that, of all questions,
Wait, did you miss that train?
How did that go?
That train might have left the
That
station,
train took
but
off
you
from
were
the
right
station.
there.
Yeah,
You
that
were
train,
right there to
that
get on
train
that.
took off from the station for sure.
were close.
Yeah. I wasn't at that train station.
You left early? You left early?
No, that was down the street from me. I wasn't there. No.
Did you ever meet Diddy?
Yo, what the
Bro, yo, I forgot you
He's
actually
like,
might
yo,
have.
I've seen
He
pictures
actually
with you
might have.
there.
Now, you guys can obviously make your own conclusions, but to me personally, Druski actually being at a Diddy party doesn't prove that he's guilty. Some people have ran with this information and think that Druski is 100% guilty. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Diddy, but I'm pretty sure he had the normal parties where, there was nothing freaky going on. At least like that, okay, if you know what I mean. And then he probably had the after parties, which were the freak-offs, which is where the stuff actually went down. Like, if Druski was actually guilty of things he's guilty for in this case, I don't think he would admit that he was at a Diddy party. You also have to understand that most people, especially in the music industry, has probably been to a Diddy party. Because, well, he was known for throwing some of the best parties. It was what was going on in secret that was the problem. But like I said earlier, I think I said it, Druski has responded to the allegations. Obviously, clearing his name up. But imagine he was like, yeah, so what, I did it kind of base, ? Just kidding, joking about is not funny, okay? But this is what Druski's response said. This allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the conclusions of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose the falsehood in the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. And like I said earlier, this is most likely true because Druski blew up in the 2020 era while everybody was in the lockdown, along with Jack Harlow. So Diddy being friends with someone like Druski in 2018 would literally make no sense at all. Like, come on, just think about it for like 2 seconds. Why would Diddy, one of the most influential people in the music industry right now, I guess not right now, but in 2018, once with Druski, who was broke during that time and lived with his mom, Like, whoever this plaintiffs were could have picked, like, probably anybody in the music industry, and their story would have been at least a little bit more believable. And thankfully, a lot of public figures, like the Breakfast Club, think that the victim's story is just absolutely ridiculous.
I wish Druski didn't even dignify that foolishness with a response. Like, whoever created that story didn't even try to make it sound believable. And stories like this one just make it harder for real victims to be believed.
And then also, it's still just a stain on your name. I get why he did say something.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you. I heard some people on TikTok say that OBJ and Druski lived together, and that's just untrue. They did not live together, at least up until 2020 or 2021. And I also think that it's kind of funny that 2 days after the allegations dropped, you know, like these life-ruining allegations, he posted a new episode of Could Have Been Love. Like, most people probably would have waited to post, but I guess he really wanted to stay on track with his upload schedule. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say. And sorry I haven't been posting that much. This video took a while, and I really wanted to get like everything right in it. But if you do want me to cover the Jay-Z situation too, you know, let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it. Subscribe, like the video. Bye.